Hello, Jeremy Chambers, Independence Acres Homestead. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that's been pretty dear to my heart the last 3 years, and that is homesteading with a chronic illness. So let me start this video by telling you a little bit of my personal story. For me, my journey with chronic illness started about 4 years ago, back in late 2015, early 2016, actually. So almost 4 years. We're almost 4 years into it here. And I began to lose my hair in small patches. And, at first I was thinking maybe I just got into something that was causing me some problems with my hair, and so I ignored it for a little while, like most men do, and finally I made my way to a dermatologist, and he began treating me for hair loss, and basically couldn't find a cause for it. So it was determined by my dermatologist that basically my immune system was attacking my hair follicles, so it was an autoimmune issue. Thought nothing of it. Was going in once a month for injections to basically calm my immune system around my hair follicles to let my hair grow back in. Over the course of about 4 months, my hair began to grow back in, and I thought that everything was going to be good. Well, life was always good. My faith in God and my family have always kept me strong, even in the midst of trials and troubles. So that's been a very important thing for me in this journey. But once my hair grew back in, things were fine for a little while. And then the following year, I began to experience some digestive discomfort, and some other symptoms, which I won't get into because they might be a little TMI for some people, but it only lasted about a month and a half in the early spring for me. So between May and June into July a little bit, but things cleared up. So the rest of 2016 went off without a hitch health-wise, once I got the hair loss under control. But then early spring of 2017, this would have been late April, early May, symptoms returned with quite a vengeance. And I denied it for about a month and a half, blamed it on food, blamed it on stomach bug, blamed it on just about everything, like most men do. I don't need to go to the doctor. I can handle this. This continued for about a month and a half. And then, we were on our way to Ohio for my nephew's wedding, and, got to the hotel that we were staying at, and I wasn't feeling well the whole trip. But we got to the hotel, and I had to use the bathroom so bad right away. So I'm sitting there the whole time, checking in, fumbling for my papers, trying to get myself checked into the hotel. They give us our keys. I'm running up to the hotel. I use the restroom, and the toilet won't flush. Now, mind you, I have not really this whole time, I wasn't 100% honest with my wife about how I was feeling or the symptoms. And I was kind of, doing what most men do. And I kind of minimized it, in my mind. I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I can live with this. Well, that bathroom was kind of a turning point for me and my health. And, couldn't flush the toilet, so we called down to the desk, and they were going to move us to another room. Well, my wife had put some things in the bathroom, and so she walked into the bathroom and turned the light on, and saw what was in the toilet, and she just about beat me up for not being honest with her about my symptoms. And she made me swear right then and there that as soon as we got home, I was going to go see a gastroenterologist so that I could get a better answer about what was going on with my body. And, well, got in about 2 weeks after we got home. And the doctor looked at me and said, well, good news and bad news. The bad news is that you have ulcerative colitis, which we're going to confirm with colonoscopy in a few weeks. But pretty much from the symptoms you've told me and from the length of the symptoms and the severity, you have ulcerative colitis. The good news is that hopefully we can treat it with medicine, and we'll be able to reduce your symptoms. So July was a rough month that year. The symptoms of ulcerative colitis, besides the very gross ones that you see evidence of in the toilet, are also, it's a very draining disease. It's not one that is, it's not a visible disease. It's something that is stressful on my body. Since it's an autoimmune disorder, basically my body hates my colon and it's trying to destroy it using my immune system. And it has a tendency to, overflow into other aspects of my life, such as, my joints, bloating, discomfort, nausea. It affects your life in so many ways. Constant exhaustion. I couldn't even mow my yard in July and August that year, because just riding on my lawnmower in the yard and the jarring motion, it just felt like my guts were being ripped from me. And it just wasn't pleasant. And thankfully we had, great friends who came over and, mowed my yard a couple times that year. It just wasn't an easy thing to deal with. And then, fall of 2017, my symptoms got under control. And then 2018, once again, symptoms started about the same time, early spring, and just gut wrenching. And I wasn't a good patient. I wasn't honest with my GI about how I felt, about what was going on. I only called him and asked for help when I was at my wit's end because I was missing work. For those of you that don't know, I work in a automotive industry, and my place of employment is 55 miles one way from my house. I know, sounds like a lot, but I always decided I was going to live where I want, and work will find a way. So 55-mile ride. It's an hour and a half in traffic sometimes. And sometimes I'd have to stop every 10 to 15 minutes to be able to relieve myself, because I just lost control of my bowel function sometimes. Luckily never had accidents, but I always tried to be within just a few seconds, a few minutes of a restroom that I could use. So yeah, all through summer of 2018, just suffered until finally in the fall, I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I just reached out to my doctor and just begged for some extra stronger medication. I'd been on anti-inflammatories and, steroids, and finally, they prescribed me with a steroid that, was able to knock down my inflammation, enough to where I could live my life again that fall. And then once again, went all winter without any symptoms. And then the spring of this year, man, it hit me like a train. Once again, and my bowel discomfort was just outrageous, and I suffered once again all summer long. It's a very isolating disease because you don't want to go out, you don't want to see people. I don't want to laugh. I didn't want to ride in a car, but life still had to go on, and there were times I would come to work late. Times I was thankful that my my manager would find some work for me to do from home. Very thankful for the support that I had from my management at work, but it just wasn't. It wasn't a pleasant life. Very depressing, very isolating, and that gets me to my whole point of homesteading with a chronic illness. And that is that I find so many of the activities that I do during homesteading to be very therapeutic mentally and emotionally. And it also connects me to a community so that I don't feel so isolated. I know that there's many within the homesteading community that have turned to homesteading because of an illness or disease, and they need to change their lifestyle or need to change their food. They want to be in a little more control over how their food is treated. But for me, I was homesteading long before I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. But it's given me the ability to connect with people, to bring a purpose and a value to my life that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And it gives me a reason to get up and get out of bed sometimes, knowing that I'm going to be able to connect with people who garden and people who are raising livestock, people who are trying to be more self-sufficient, people who are dealing with sickness and disease themselves, and understand that what I'm going through is it's not something that I chose. This is something that is going to be a lifelong struggle for me. And luckily I'm on some medication now that is able to manage my symptoms. I'm in a place of remission. I'm in a good place right now with my disease. But today is December 6th. It is the second to last day of Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week here in the United States of America, which goes on from December 1st to December 7th every year. And so that's why I'm making this video, is for two reasons. Number one, to encourage those of you who might be dealing with symptoms of a disease to seek out the help that you need. Don't isolate yourself. Don't pull yourself back. Don't put yourself into a shell and think that nobody understands, because we do. We understand. We're here. But also, I'm making this video to help to bring a little bit more awareness to Crohn's and colitis. They're not visible diseases. You might never see an outward sign of somebody suffering with these diseases. 9 times out of 10, I hear things, when I tell people I'm not feeling well, like, oh, well, you look fine. And that's the last thing somebody that's dealing with a chronic illness wants to hear. We're also not really always looking for suggestions. Sometimes we're just looking for understanding. So this is my encouragement to you, that if you know somebody that's dealing with a chronic illness, don't try to help. Sometimes they just want you to be there and to understand and to listen and to know that they're not alone in this battle. Well, I guess that's about it. I just wanted to share my story with you guys. I really hope that this brings a little bit of a level of awareness with you, and a little bit more understanding about some of the stuff that I've dealt with, but some of your family members and people that you see every day might be dealing with. Crohn's colitis affects 1 in 200 Americans. So it's out there, and you see people struggling and dealing with it every day. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, God bless.